Welcome to the Arctic Center. Welcome to the Arctic building. And welcome to this Citizens Dialog discussion. We are very much honored that we have Commissioner for Regional Development, Creţu, here with us. And we have also two members of the European Parliament from Finland, Hannu and Johanna Niemelä. My name is I'm the director of the Arctic Center. Let me tell you very briefly a few things about the Arctic Center. We have a very unique composition. We have 4 multidisciplinary research teams working in different parts of the Arctic. We have also science communication, delivering popularized research from science world to various audiences. And we have also our own exhibition, as you can see in the hall. Because of this unique composition, we also have the possibility for testing what the Commission proposed to be studied in 2008, which is the European Union's Arctic Information Center. So we and our multiple partners from around Europe, we tested the feasibility of the network of this EU Arctic Information Center. The Commission is still to make a decision in this respect. We have also been, as part of the University of Lapland, we have also been partners in many of the projects trying to seek funding from the European Regional Development Fund. So with these words, I will give the floor to Julius Infursa, the moderator. Yep. So the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Timo. And very good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all in Arctic. Today and this morning, our focus is to have a dialogue, to have conversation, and let's talk about issues about you and about issues in the Arctic. But let's start one hand-folding questions. So let's make an icebreaker first. Do you feel that your voice is heard in the EU? If you do, please raise your hand. Do you feel that your voice is heard in the EU? Maybe hard. Okay. So today and this morning we have very honored great guests in here with us, and the system is that we have a real dialogue between you, Commissioner, and member of European Parliament and member of Parliament from Finland, and with us, from the citizens and the people from the Lapland and from the Rovaniemi. We have also a link to Ojala and Sodankylä, and we have some cases during this morning. We use also social media, so if you use Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, please use Twitter hashtag EU Dialogs. EU Dialogs. Our theme today is that how EU is supporting growth and jobs via investments into Arctic areas. That's our talk today. And we have 2 themes and rounds. It's called competitiveness and sustainable development, and tourism and culture for working jobs and growth in Lapland. So there is our theme today and this morning. Okay. Our mission is also that the questions that you make, please you the questions, and we have politicians who get the answers, and they give you short answers for questions. Hope so. But okay, let's start. We have Commissioner Corina Creţu in here, and she's Commissioner of Regional Policy, and she's coming from Romania. And he has been, before he's Vice President of a party called Social Democrat Party, and he has been European Commissioner for Regional Policy from 2014, since 2014. So, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you.
Let's give our applause.
Thank you very much, dear member of National Parliament and European Parliament. I was Vice President of European Parliament before coming here. So it's a great pleasure for me, ladies and gentlemen, to be here today. It's my first time in Lapland and in Finland. So I'm really very happy to be with you today. And as the moderator told you, we have initiated as European Commission this Citizens Dialogue in order to see how what we are doing is known in the countries, in the regions. And of course, as Commissioner for Regional Policy, I think it's my duty to talk about how our policy, regional policy, is contributed to the growth and jobs and sustainable development of the regions. I'm responsible for the 289 regions in 28 countries. And you know very well that the crisis hit a lot of countries, and we live now a very challenging times, and hopefully we'll have the time to talk and exchange ideas about what we are experiencing today. But anyhow, in this my first introductory speech, I would like to say that although the crisis hit it so much and we are slowly recovering, in European Union remains still 25 million people unemployed, and I think we as national level, regional level, and of course of European Commission level, we have to do whatever it is in our hands to help these people to find jobs. And it is exactly what the European regional policy is doing. I am responsible for a budget which is 340 billions and which is going in 28 countries, but of course it's going most in the less developed regions. And Lapland was one of the regions which benefited a lot by the regional policy. Of course, sometimes we are seeing a lot of projects, but we are not aware that it's coming from European Union. I saw so many nice projects you have here, especially this e-healthy program, and also about tourism. I will be visiting today. I think you should be very proud about the Arctic strategy you have developed according with the needs, according with a tailor-made, and I am sure that this will be a great achievement for Lapland. Anyhow, I would like just to say that this Commission established another fund, which is strategic fund, what is called the strategic fund for strategic investments, what is called Juncker's plan, because it was something with which President of the European Commission won the election, and this is something that should be taken into account also in order to apply via EIB. I know you have big ideas on railways, connectivity, and so on, and we can talk with the regions together how we can combine these funds. Next Monday, together with Vice President Katainen, we'll have a press conference in Brussels in order to see to give advice to the member states, guidance how regions could combine funds for big projects. Anyhow, I just want to tell you that for the next 7 years, from Regional Development Fund, Finland will benefit with 3.7 billions, from which 2.6 will go to research, innovation, low carbon economy, what is needed in order to develop the country. So hopefully after this debate, after our dialogue, will be many hands raises, but we are here to listen, first of all, to hear your voice, your concerns, your ideas, and of course, as a commissioner, I'm also here to explain you and to respond to your questions on what we can do and what we do together, because it's a shared responsibility in the end between the Commission and Member States in order to solve so many problems we have this time. Thank you once again.
Thank you. And then we have two other guests with us. And because ladies first, I think that many of you knows Johanna Ojala Niemelä comes from here, from Lapland, and she's a member of Finnish Parliament. And I keep your microphone for you, so you can introduce yourself and your thoughts about agenda of this day.
Dear Commissioner, dear participants, with the support of the strategic fund, we have been able to build different development and education environments, arrange focused training and research for existing and new branches of economy, support the possibilities for training and employment of those who otherwise have low possibilities for building their own future. With these activities, we have been able to create such know-how and infrastructure that strengthens the businesses and their possibilities to develop, example, tourism, and makes the region attractive and vital. By increasing the attractivity, the region has become tempting, richest, and for those already living here and those who are planning to move here. Effects of the present economic situation have not affected Lapland as severely as many other Finnish regions. Long-term planning of regional development and the existing EU funds have assisted us to diminish the negative consequences of the demographic reality, that is, decrease and aging of the inhabitants, high unemployment, and low educational level. Geographical location of Lapland is unique in Finland, having a land border with 3 countries: Sweden, which is EU member state, Norway, which is Schengen area, and Russia, that is neither. The location cross-border cooperation has always been everyday activity, and with the support of the ETC funds, it has been strengthened and made more strategical, and in that way it has been taken into a new level. In addition to the national development procedures, the joint international development activities are a key to a positive future and to recognition and utilization of new possibilities. Lapland is also actively cooperating with other European countries and regions, which has increased our visibility in European Union and in implementation of the initiatives launched by the European Commission. Without a possibility to use EU funds to support this international cooperation and development, it shall be limited mostly because of the lack of funds to cover the cost deriving from the long distances. And we have also problems and concerns, and one of our main concerns is that the decision in the EC for the next cohesion policy program period is that the structural funds shall be targeted only based on the GDP figures and thus only the poorest countries shall benefit without any evaluation of, i.e. the impact of natural condition. But let's keep dialogue go on, and it's nice to have you here, dear Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johanna. And then we have man, I think that many of you knows him also, Mr. Hannu, and Mr. Hannu is a member of the European Parliament. And let's have a look. Hannu is a member of the Committee of International Trade and Delegation for Relations with the United States.
For example.
For example, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, dear Commissioner Corina, Creţu, dear guest. First of all, I would like to thank Commissioner Creţu for inviting me for this event. I'm sincerely delighted that you are here in Rovaniemi, and this, as you know, this town is special for me. I studied and worked here, and my political life, I can't say career, but my political life started here. And for me, Rovaniemi is where I call home and where my heart lies. So very good to see you here. And as you may know, that before I joined the European Parliament, we joined to 2004 both in the same time, so we get to know 2004 each other. So before that, I was a member of the National Parliament, and Lapland was my constituency. So it's good to be here always. Anyway, during my 11 years as a member of the European Parliament, I have invited many visitors from inside and outside the European Parliament to Rovaniemi and northern Finland. Let's say real Lapland. We have visited in Sami area at least 2 times.
At least 2 times.
Yeah. So, and one comment has been that nothing in the books or pictures can fully describe the unique nature and environment that we have here in northern Finland. And I'm delighted, Mr. Commissioner, as you traveled here now and you have the chance to see some of special features and, in my opinion, the best part of the country. Working of the rights of and well-being of the people who live in sparsely populated areas has always been one of my priorities. And this very short introduction here, I would like to raise this issue as a main issue. I think that people should have same rights and equal access to service, no matter where they live, be in urban or rural areas. Developing and improving infrastructure in rural, sparsely populated areas is the cornerstone of an efficient and sustainable regional policy where equal access to service, healthcare and education can be maintained and secured. And I think that that's only thing what I would like to raise at the moment. Is sparsely populated areas. That's the key issue for us here in the north part of Finland, and we really hope and we're looking for cooperation in that field in the future. And we, of course, waiting for also some special program for that areas, because that's the main issue here, and that's what we think is going to benefit not only the Lapland and east part of Finland, but the whole Finland and Europe. And in that way, it can give the added value for the European cooperation. I think that that's my opening remarks, and I'm really happy that you are here, Corina, today, and I hope that you're going to have good and fruitful discussions and good visit here in Rovaniemi and Lapland.
Thank you very much.
So the point of this morning session is that we have a dialogue. So if you have any kind of questions, please ask. And if you were to ask those in English, you can ask those in Finnish, and I really try to translate in English. Okay, but let's go into our theme. Competitiveness and sustainable development. Like we heard, we have a lot of possibilities here in beautiful Arctic and in beautiful Lapland. There is a lovely pure nature and very kind people and more or less very great place to be. But of course we have also difficulties. We have long distances, sparsely populated northern region. Mrs. Commissaire, is the EU or IU aware of these specific regional problems or challenges that we have here, and how we can ensure that we receive to all support from the EU we can get?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank to the members of the National and European Parliament for their words. Of course, I also think that it's one of the most beautiful region in the world, and not only in Europe. And of course, we are here to help and to do whatever it takes. Of course, we cannot fight with the nature, and it's the most beautiful. This comes with some challenges, as you said, long distances, some peripheral locations. And when I heard and I worked here, although we talk about regions from north and south, but it reminded me of my visit in northern Greece during the mountains, where also I met still a lot of people, children who are going 3-4 hours by bus in order to go to school and back. And of course, I think they are much more poorer than here. But in the same time, you know, we all think that we are unique, but in the same time, we find some things in common wherever we go. And regional policy, it's a policy which is tailor-made. First of all, it's designed to be according with the needs of the population. And I spoke about money, 3.7 billion. I don't know what is, how, it's not a lot of money, but it's still enough to make some changes in the life of the people. And we work with the national authorities and with the local authorities in order that this money to go directly to the most needed things, because there are so many things to do and to help. But I was very, very happy to see that our funds contributed to some very important projects that we have here in Lapland. First of all, this project Virtu, which is about e-health. It's a project on which Regional Development Fund put more than 150,000 euro. It's a project in which a service portal for social and healthcare services was developed, especially for the benefit of the people of Lapland, especially for those who live in peripheral locations and have difficulties in accessing social and healthcare services. I hope you know about this project, because we also experience this kind of things, that we do things and the population is not aware about the opportunities that they have. So the project includes consultations for people via video links because of the long distances and the possibility to transfer and personal documents, information. So I hope, I know that this project was widely publicized, but I think it's very important, especially for the people who cannot afford to go on the daily basis to the hospital, to have this very direct connection with the doctors and specialists. And I'm also happy to see that, of course, you decided on your smart specialization strategy. We have this notion of smart specialization in which each region should make a strategy, long-term strategy for 7-10 years from now, in order build on the strengths of the regions. And you have decided that tourism should be, of course, and must be for the population of Lapland one of the strengths. And so I am very glad that our project House of Culture, Corundi, we could serve more than 3 million euro in this project, and also in the north of Finland, in Lapland, and I will visit Arctic, and in the afternoon I will visit this village of Santa Claus. I will be very happy. I was thinking all the night which wishes to go there, because I understand we have to be also concrete with Santa Claus as well. But anyhow, I think this is one of your strengths and something very important. All children in this world believe in Santa Claus, and I think you succeeded to make all the children know where is Santa Claus to be geographically pointed out in Finland, in Rovaniemi. And this is something very important, and I'm sure that the tourism, it's already huge, 1 million per year. I think it's a lot, but I think on this tourism strategy you will win much more hearts, and of course that should go hand in hand with research, development, innovation, tackle climate change, because it's a big issue also here with melting the snow, and so every region is unique, but this is something Lapland, I think all the people should come at least once in their life.
Yeah, we call it extraordinary. So we heard that there has been many kind of projects that we have got concrete money from the EU. There is a cultural project and social and health services project and many kind of projects. And we had just 5 minutes of questions and answers, and also Santa Claus as mentioned. So maybe it is really important, the tourism and Santa Claus, of course. Antti.
Is the original.
Thank you, seeing you here, this commissioner. I just said you the day before that you are welcome to the snowy Lapland. It was Thursday, I think, or better. We have in Lapland a very hard nature. The nature for built housing, the nature to live here with 8 seasons, and the nature to be seen for. I mean, this is very sensitive nature. Then we have in Lapland very long border, cross border Russia. It has been for us very nice before, but now with this crime problem, it's not very nice. Then we have one little problem. We have the only European original people here, the Samis. And that's a very big question not resolved. So we have many things to think, many problems to solve, and we hope that you will keep this in your memory when looking for our needs.
Thank you, Antti Liikkanen. This is going to be the run experience for me with the microphone.
Thank you very much. So I know you work for the region for so many years, and you know better than me, of course, challenges you have. I just wanted to say something about this cross-border cooperation. This is something that we don't exploit at the maximum possibilities, in my personal view. So we have this interreg, cross-border cooperation, and especially during these days, I think we should intensify our work together. And of course, you referred yourself to a special border with Russia, with a country which is not member EU, but we also have programs, all kinds of programs, and these programs should be much more flexible, I think, in order to adapt to the new situation. You have referred to the refugee crisis. It's, I think, a very important challenge for all Europe, how to tackle this issue. And in this landscape, of course, this week is a week where all the leaders of European Union will meet in the Council in Brussels to find a solution and try to find a solution. I'm very much afraid and concerned about this split in the opinion between Eastern and Western countries. I think we should come together with a common solution, because solidarity, it's a both way exercise, and also responsibility should be shared. But in the same time, I fully believe that we do not exploit at the maximum the full instruments that we have in order to tackle. We have European funds, we have migration funds, we have cross-border cooperation, we have interreg. So I think we should, we have European also strategic funds. So we should learn how to put together all these instruments in order to benefit for the life of the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you have questions. Because Mrs. Commissioner mentioned the health and social services, which is the project that how we manage the services in the like e-services. And we have a case for you. And let's hear thoughts of Kaisa Kostamo-Pääkö. She comes from Northern Center of Excellence of Social Welfare. Correct. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So tell a couple words about the project, and then we take a connect to Johanna.
And Solange, yes. Hello everyone, Commissioner. Nice to be here. I would like to tell you and talk about services, and I would like to talk about services like virtual services in social welfare and healthcare. We have had EU project and EU foundation where we have developed virtual services in social welfare and healthcare. Yes, that has been very interesting project to do. Simply, what we do, you can get services by internet in security connection. And why we do it? Because Finland is sparsely populated, and the e-services, they shorten the distance to professional help, yes. And the other reason is that we have lack of professionals. We don't have enough psychologists, neurologists, that by e-services we can provide certain professionals by internet. And these professionals we provide by video call services, which offers real-time interaction with professionals and customers. And we have different kinds of services which we provide with video call, like employment services, mental health support, infant sleep school, treatment for Parkinson's disease. Then you can get contact with social workers, neurology, psychology, some legal advice. And you can see over there is some people, professionals and clients from different parts of Lapland, like Sodankylä and Ojala. And maybe I give this to moderator Julius, so you can ask them about how they use the services.
Yes, I have some questions, couple of questions here. We have behind the link the chief physician Riitta Pirilä at the Lapland Hospital District, and we have Tiia Kaukovalta from Ojala, and Ojala is about 300 kilometers from here to north. And then we have also psychologist Minna Vasenius and Heini Pauna and Johanna Mäki from Sodankylä. But let's get to first, let's go to Ojala. And my first question is that in what ways have you used this, and what kind of experience have you had?
Hi everyone, my name is Tiia Kaukovalta and I'm from Ojala. I have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS disease, so that's why I need to see my doctor Riitta for many times during the year, and of course I have also medication and it's a strong one, so I have to get the lab work done regularly. And we have used these virtual services with Riitta to connect and discuss the results of my lab work and also plan the future. So I have really good experiences with this video call service. And we also, of course, have face-to-face time in Rovaniemi, but it's easier sometimes just to call with this service.
So sometimes there's benefits to using the e-call services than always to see face-to-face.
Yeah, it's much easier because I have 300 kilometers to Rovaniemi, the nearest hospital, and it's easier to sometimes use this service and drive 4 hours or maybe sometimes 6 hours to Rovaniemi, because we have really hard conditions in Lapland. So it's much easier to stay home, or in this case, now I'm in my grandmother's place in Ojala. So I can be wherever and just use my computer and discuss with Riitta.
Great, sounds really great. And how about Riitta? What kind of experience you have in the other side of the table? How to link?
Yes, my experiences have been very good too. Compared to a phone call, I can see the patient. As a non-verbal communication is also very important. I can examine the patient by watching and listening how he or she is walking, speaking, and so on. And I can also see the patient's face and see if he's looking depressed or if he has pain. And my experiences, for example, with Tiia has been very nice, as I can also kind of visit Tiia's home. It's a little bit more personal than by just here or by phone call.
Great. Then we have psychologist Minna Vasenius and customer Heini Pauna from Sodankylä. What kind of experience you have had, Heidi, using this service? Heidi can speak Finnish and I can translate. Minkälaisia kokemuksia, Heidi, sulla on ollut tästä palvelun käytöstä?
Olen käyttänyt psykologin palveluita virtuaalipisteessä ja mulle haluttiin myös kotikäyttää, mutta pienten lasten takia en sitä halunnut, vaan halunnut tämän virtuaalipisteelle.
he has used the Pirto service point to use the service of the psychologist, and they suggest that he could use the service in home, but she decided to use in the service the service point.
Mietinnöstä huonommin on äänestetty ja mietinnöstä voi puhua rauhassa ja asiat eivät lähde menemään eteenpäin, joka ei sitten kuule. Täällä myös saa keskittyä rauhassa omiin ajatuksiin, kotona pienet lapset täällä ja pyörsii ympärillä, niin silloin keskustelu oli paljon hankalampaa.
He knew that in the service point the conditions are good. There is peace and private, and space is soundproof, and because in the home there's children, and so it's better to be in the service point. There is a peace.
Millainen kokemus sinulla on ollut? Niin palvelu on tosi hyvää, olen kokenut sen hyvänä. Toisaalta sitä hyötyä, koska psykologi on erikoiset lapsiperheisiin ja hän pystyy vastaamaan minun henkilökohtaiseen tarpeeseeni. Olisin myös, että hän on ammattilainen ja pystyy katsomaan asioita ammattilaisen silmin ja avaamaan solmuja.
And then what kind of benefits he has get about the services is that the service is professional, and they can give specific information and knowledge for her, and and it's the services of this healing get a great way to get the service. Kiitos heille. Onko sulla vielä jotain muuta? Sano vaan.
Niin aina huomataan takaisin, että viimeisenä kerran oli vähän ääniongelmia, mutta muuten on ollut hyvin positiivinen kokemus.
So it has been working pretty good. Sometimes there's some voice problems, but otherwise good. Okay, thank you, Heidi. And Minna, how do you think the virtual service works?
I think mainly it works very well. I agree, it feels pretty similar to face-to-face contact when you meet someone through virtual. May feel awkward at first for customers, but very soon, as we get into discussion, it goes on by itself.
Great. So there is one example with EU project, that how we can develop the services and how we can handle it those like a new way. Do you have any questions about this? Okay. Thank you, Ivalo and Sotakylä. Okay. If you don't have any questions about this project, then we can go on. Tell us a question.
Your honorary commissioner, we are very delighted and honored to have you here in Lapland. My name is Tai Jormo. I come from Lapland Chamber of Commerce. The theme of this discussion now is competitiveness, if I understood right. And we have talked about tourism and travel industry here many times. We are competitive by nature, I would say, in the travel industry. And as you may know, we have also international competitive industry here in Lapland. And also in the context, it's of affecting whole Finland. Of course, we are looking forward to have more industrial investment to Lapland as well, and we have heard some great news just recently. I've also heard that the EU is preparing a strategy for industrial development, and don't know in which phase this strategy work is going on, but I wonder if regional policy is taken in consideration in this context work? And if so, how and in which way?
Thank you.
So first of all, I would like just to make a brief comment about what we have just seen. Of course, when I said we have a e-health project, we put some money in healthcare, we didn't realize, but when you visualize, we really understand what it means for the citizens to have this kind of projects. And as you said, we all talk here about the hard nature and the difficult living conditions, but it was something that pushed you in Lapland to find smart solutions and initiative as these digital solutions for healthcare. Because as you might be aware, the European Commission is here for you, of course, to assist, to implement your solutions, because you know best what is working, what does not work, what is needed, what is not, what is absolutely necessary. So we can also, in addition, provide best practices from other regions, as you can provide to other regions best practices, because I think you have many things to share. So as I said, I believe Lapland has succeeded in finding very smart solutions from some of the challenges, and I would like to congratulate you for that. I said about these projects, I know that more than 14,000 jobs were created in the last 5 years due to the help of the European funds. And I very much encourage you to assess more what is needed, what are the handicaps of the region. We can help you to find solutions. But as I said, EU deliver instruments, framework, but we cannot design from European Commission or from the European Parliament or from Brussels or from anywhere. We cannot design the projects itself. And this is why it is very important to engage with local stakeholders and the citizens, of course, to actively participate in finding solutions. And I will be very happy to meet during the lunch with some stakeholders. But in the same time, I would like to tell you that we have now in the regulations this partnership principle in which every local regional authorities should engage citizens and also stakeholders, universities, business people, when they make the framework, the strategy. But as I said, you have succeeded. And industrial is something also very important. We put a lot of, we have, so we say thematic objectives, thematic concentration. We think that the most important areas that we have to dedicate money in the next programming period would be research, innovation, going to the low carbon economy, and especially SMEs, which is small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of every economy. And here in Lapland as well, we estimate that in the last 5 years, were created 40,000 jobs. We hope that at least to have the same success for the next 5 years with this money we allocate for Lapland. Anyhow, I was very moved by this, because this is something that we need to do, communication and visualization and explaining how this money means, because when we say 1 billion, 500 million, we want to impress, we don't impress with this money. But when you see directly for what this money are going and what they are doing for the life of the people, I think we should be very proud of us, both European Commission and of course the regions who designed, the people who are behind these bright ideas, because it's not easy, and it's not easy, but it's something very difficult. So we have to find the right needs, because for these ladies, these girls, I think it's something very important to be in direct contact with specialists, with people who guide her, and as she says, 300 kilometers on this is not easy. So I think it's very important to have more and more this kind of examples to show what we are doing with our funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have Mr. Kari Poikala here? I heard that Kari has some thoughts about the industrial business.
Commissioner Creţu, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the leader of the circular economy and Arctic industry cluster in Lapland, and like Taija from the Lapland Chamber of Commerce told us that we have big investment potential in the industrial side of the business, and what we need here is to get the SMEs involved more actively in these big investment projects, and also with the existing industry, because it brings resilience in the region in that one, and it brings the vitality to the Lapland. And like we all know, it's a sparsely populated and remote area, so what keeps us vital are the jobs and growth in that sense. So without the structural funding, we are missing the activation part of getting the SMEs involved and getting new entrepreneurs in our business ecosystem. And we have to create a systematic process how to get growth inside the SMEs. Usually our SMEs are quite small and they are not growing fast enough. So our answer for this has been the development of clusters. And Lapland was chosen in year 2014. Model region in cluster development in sustainable use of Arctic natural resources. Harsh conditions and at the same time very vulnerable conditions. We have to be smarter than in the regions that the weather is better or not that harsh. So we have to make most sustainable solutions out of the processes. And this cluster or modern region that Lapland has been chosen, there we have been looking for the best practices in Lapland, inside Lapland, and we are also getting information from the other parts of the EU about the best practices. And so with structural funding, we are getting more activation going on, and also we can be more active. We can be proactive and we can build new networks, and the networks are the basis for the clusters, and with active networking and better cooperation, we can go from clusters even to the ecosystems with the several clusters and with the better cooperation. And this brings jobs, growth and vitality in Lapland. And this way we can also provide materials through industry to the EU markets and answer the needs of the EU markets.
Thank you. Keep this in mind. Let's take a couple questions more and then we can go to the next subject. 2, 3, 4. Great.
Hello. So I'm Johanna, professor for industrial design at the University of Lapland. So also very pleased to see you here, dear Commissioner, and I hope you enjoy your visit. So I think as it has come many times, and as you mentioned also, so this equality is very important value in Europe, and this kind of values we want to foster, and access to services and so on. And many times said that we have long distances, harsh conditions, and so on. But then, on the other hand, we do have infrastructure and Finland is a quite developed country in that sense. So my question is about this regional development and using Lapland, the possibilities of using Lapland, for instance, as a test bed for pilots and developing new models of services, for instance, for smart traffic or education or distance work. Because, for instance, the traffic problems, okay, we have long distances, takes 3 hours to travel, but so does it in London or Rome. So conditions are different, but many of the problems are similar. And I see that in Lapland we could develop these kind of regional, we could test this kind of new type of services and solutions for problems or issues such as this. And then we could provide some solutions also for the better of whole Europe. So what do you think of this kind of perspective?
Thank you. Keep in mind this also, and let's take one question more.
Thank you. Dear Commissioner, dear members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tiina Sanila-Aikio and I'm the President of the Sami Parliament in Finland. I want to remind that the Sami people are living in 4 different countries: Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Russia. And I want to remind that the EU doesn't have policy towards its own indigenous peoples. So EU has a policy towards indigenous peoples in their foreign politics, but not internal politics. So when speaking about sustainable development and projects and etc. in Arctic, you must have a policy for the internal indigenous peoples, plus the Arctic indigenous peoples. So I want to remind that when speaking about sustainable development, it many times contains very bad things for indigenous peoples in the area. So this very nice term, sustainable development or green tech or something like that, contains a side that means something to indigenous peoples. For example, railroad to Arctic Ocean, it has major impacts to the reindeer herding, for example, which is one of the main traditional livelihoods for Sami people. So I would like to hear what kind of thoughts would you have about EU's own Sami politics or Sami policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take one more question. I think that it's also one more subject for you, but then I give time for you to answer and give comment. Yes.
Well, actually, I have the comment for the Kari Poikilas, and I'm Eija Pirkasalo, and I'm the head of financing unit in ELU Center, and I'm in charge in European this program in northern Finland. And my point of view is that how the companies react to the program, and they are very active in asking support. And when we think about the results we have made, for instance, from €1 support, we can get the company's turnover 10 times, and the export is 5 times. So the support has a great meaning for the companies, and also for employing people. That's a great thing. And also, in the point of view, sustainable solutions, companies have been very active, and about 35% of the projects are low carbon. And I think it's very great for Lapland because they are taking care of their environment. And I think the companies are very thankful for the new support, and because the financing project is not so easy, it has a quite big meaning. And for instance, the industrial companies, low carbon is important, digitalization is important, internationalization, and that kind of things. And at the moment, from the business fields, tourism is the most active sector. But we can talk about it later more. Thank you.
If you allow, I can say.
Thank you. So, questions and teams were the services for companies and how to get more entrepreneurs and how valuable the EU money is for companies and about the clusters. And then there was a developing issue that how Lapland can be like a platform to develop services and products. And we had same kind of problems in here and in London. Well, they are same kind of, but they are not. And then third theme was the Sami people and sustainable development and how those things connect together.
Well, I will try to respond as much as I can, but I also invite maybe my colleagues who know this region better than me to respond punctually to some
easy questions, so you have short answers.
So what I would like to say, and I try to say during this meeting, is that regional policy is about investing in the strengths, and also we try together with regional authorities in the beginning of each programming period. You know that the budget in European Union is constructed on 7 years' time, and now we are in a very right moment because we finish the programming period 2007-2013, and we start the new programming period, which means that we start the selection of the projects for the next 7 years. So, as I said, that I would like to congratulate you for the wise use of the funds, because I know that 2,000 small and medium-sized enterprises were supported in the last 5 years, and had been created 14,000 jobs, and we expect in what you programmed in the strategy, you expect 6,000 new small and medium-sized enterprises to be supported in the next 5 years, and hopefully this will be really an achievement, a real achievement. So not only on paper but also in reality. And of course, you spoke about wood industry. What I would like to underline is that European fund cannot replace private investments. I think that should be going hand in hand. So we can provide, of course, smart services around industrial policy. We can complement each other, and I think it's very important to know that we are ready to do that, and we are doing that. And as I said, together with Jirki, my dear friend and Vice President Katainen, next week in Brussels, it's exactly that we would like to launch a guidance for the regions and for the national government. And I started to read a lot about Sami people, and I think Lapland is a rich region also because of the Sami population. So we'll meet in the afternoon, and I'm sure we can make the exchanges about exactly the problems where we can help. I know that we have some programs for Sami people in Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Russia, and I would like, of course, to encourage you to make common efforts to fully utilize 2014-2020 programs. And I know that we are now working on this Arctic policy, which is already during the services, and we hope to be launched in April by the European Commission in Brussels. And I'm sure you will have there your place about, and of course I always support equal rights, equal treatment for all people. So I'm looking forward for our meeting in the afternoon. And the last was about making a platform. I think the results, performance, flexibility, that should be the keywords in the next years to see how we can maximize the use of our instruments, of our funds. But until now, I really think that that you here in North, in Lapland, you make really good use of the funds, which are you succeeded to combine the beauty with the challenges and make a very nice strategy. And now it is time to put her in practice and to implement. Anyhow, I would like to thank you, all of you, and maybe you can help me a bit with programs about Sami people or.
Thank you, Corina. So, as you know, the member of the parliament may be better be the humble listener here. But anyway, as you know, what is the Lapland's contribute in your DG? We have Pekka Jounila here, the Lapland sent the best boy in your DG, so we are very proud of that. And so always when you need some specific information, I'm sure that Pekka is ready to give that. And also here's Kari Aalto, who runs the Northern Finland office, so he's also the good source of information. But I would like to say something about this Sami indigenous people, because of course special circumstances must be taken into account always when we talk about the Sami people or when we talk about the Lapland. But I think that we have all reasons to be quite happy and quite proud of our Sami people and indigenous people. The Sami people are only indigenous people in Europe. And I used to work 10 years in the Culture Committee. I was the coordinator and vice president of the European Parliament's Culture and Education Committee. And the Australians and the New Zealanders, they both have the indigenous people, Maori and Aboriginals. They visited in Europe and they asked how they can get that level of education what the Sami people have. Because the learning incomes among the Sami people, results are very good. And they asked our school system or your school system, how we create it. You have the own radio, you have the language nest and so on. And I think that it can be some kind of pilot. We talk about the pilot for the, who had the indigenous people, how we have run the education in Lapland and especially in the North Lapland, in Sami area. So, of course, we have developed that, but I think that at the moment the situation is quite good when it comes to education and culture field. Of course, always we need funding, and because we know that it's we know the circumstances. But anyway, I think that there's all reason to be happy at the moment, and the issue is that how we can maintain that level in the future also. Because we all know that education in the field that almost every member state cut at the moment when you're looking for the national budget. So that's of course the challenges, but I think that they have done very, very good job. But that's my contribution.
I remember that during the flight, my people told me that they visited some of the projects dedicated to Sami, and I will also love during my mandate to come and I understand that they visited some weeks ago, and maybe our colleague who is, as you said, exactly from here and is in the unit of Finland, could tell you about this SAIUS project. I assume you were there. It's a house of the Sami Parliament and Cultural Center. And it was for us one of the biggest projects in our program for 2007-2013. And I'm very happy to learn that has been a success. And I think also we have these two programs in the Arctic, Interreg North and Northern Periphery and Arctic, which are positively affecting also the life of the Sami people. So we also try in these projects to support startups and new enterprises also done by the Sami people, and products, services. So I am sure that the Arctic policy, which will be released in April, will have a strong dimension of the indigenous people of the Arctic. So we can look together. I think it's not only up to us, because you know the best what is needed. We can look together at the appropriate ways of ensuring that your needs are met, and we can consult all the time. As I said, we have a tailor-made policy, and we are here to respond to the people needs. And of course, I think it's very important to work together and to preserve what we have, because the history of Europe has a lot of wounds, a lot of and regional policy. I think in many countries it's not only development but also reconciliation. We have the task force in the Northern Ireland, for instance, Turkey, Cypriot, and this policy put together people working together, and hopefully the peace will stay longer than we feel now that will be. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can learn some more about the Sami and the Sami culture. These Holmberg can give us short and nice ideas and thoughts.
Are you afraid of me?
No, I'm afraid of time.
Okay. I have some pictures and maps, so we know a little bit more about the scale of this.
May I tell you something before?
Okay.
I forgot to say happy birthday to Pekka from the region. And thank you very much for organizing this event, this visit, and thank you for all of your work, and to all unit. I don't know where it's. We have Angelica, and thank you once again. Happy birthday. I don't know how to say in Finnish, but
hyvää syntymäpäivää.
It's I'm the rector of the Sami Education Institute, and I was so happy to hear 2 weeks ago when your cabinet was listing over there that you are coming, so you are very welcome. We have been waiting. This is the Sami area. We are around 100,000 people in 4 different countries. This is the strength of us, but it's also weakness somehow. This is the area. I have put there 7 European countries inside. It's a huge area. It's a little bit bigger than Germany. And as Tiina Sanila said, our president, that we don't have any political involvement in EU. We don't have a parliament member. We don't have anybody to sitting in the regional committee, the committee of social and economic committee. No, no one, nothing there. But we don't have anything in the Finnish politics either. We don't have anybody in the Finnish parliament, not one Sami parliament member. So we really need to our voice to hear in the Brussels level, also in Helsinki level, but the problem, because all the decision there, it's concerning us, Sami people. So we have a solution to that. We have a, together with all these Finland, Sweden and Norway, we are making a Sami representation to the Brussels. But the problem is that who's paying it? Norway, it's the most rich, no problem with money, but it's not a member of the EU. Sweden and Finland, we don't have money to go well. And then Russia is not so much bothering some issues right now. These are some of our cross-border EU projects. which we have done with the Sami area, but also taking to the with the Nenets and Komi Russian area. Indigenous tourism, very successful, very good project, 2010, 2012, and then we were waiting for the
new program.
Yeah, new program opening, I don't know, and maybe you don't know when
this year.
This year?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Then there is a radio education, and then very important Sami culture project, which gave to the little village of Sevetjärvi a big livelihood. Before the project, we had only one child under the school age. After the project, we have 40, and it's coming more and more. So it was very important. And then this inside EU project, inside Finland, we have a cultural project. We have a virtual pedagogic project, we have cultural sensitive nurse education project, and then this kind of vocational business school project when you can educate yourself to the little company owner. And this is our school. This is our Mari-Liisa Laiti, who is our teacher, reindeer hides and skins. We are making, this was also one EU project. We were developing new machinery to make from the hides to leather to make the design. And it was very, very successful project. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. That was nice and short.
Yeah. That was.
Do you have some comments? Yeah.
As I said, I think the population should preserve their education, and I'm very proud to see that we contribute to preserve the culture and so on. And about the representation, I'm not here to talk about this. Each country, it's organizing itself. For instance, in my country, in Romania, each minority is representing, regardless of the population. They have a special seat in the parliament, but I don't know how it's in Finland. But as far as I see, you can be sure you are respected, you are well integrated, you are part of the society, and I think that's the most important thing in a society, to feel at home wherever you are in this country, and I think this is the case. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final subject for this morning is tourism. We have talked about business and companies and entrepreneurs, and tourism is a very big and important industry here in Lapland. So Mrs. Satu could say a couple of words of the tourism in Lapland and the situation of that.
Thank you. Madam Commissioner, welcome to Lapland. My name is Satu Luiro, and I work as a senior tourism advisor in the Region Council of Lapland. And I actually have a few examples of good tourism projects in Lapland, and then I have a question. But first, I would like to start by telling you that sustainability, it's one of the core values in Lapland tourism strategy. The tourism industry in Lapland utilizes the Arctic natural conditions in a sustainable and responsible way, respecting the local cultures. And during the previous program period, Lapland tourism was developed by many beneficial projects, mainly focused on building the cooperation in international marketing across the county borders. Lapland Northern Finland project focused on image marketing in our main target countries in Europe. The project was very successful and actually exceeded all the expectations. The campaigns gained earned media, not paid media, but earned media, in value worth 7 million euros during the project. Another ongoing project at the moment is Visit Arctic Europe. And it's a new project that aims to build cross-border cooperation in northern Sweden, northern Norway and Lapland. The project has started very efficiently, and the companies in all 3 countries are very committed to the main goal in the project, which is to build a common destination, Arctic Europe, and combine the resources in marketing and product development. Madam Commissioner, the international arrivals to Europe are not growing as fast as in many other continents at the moment. And I think that Arctic Europe has a lot to offer in this respect. How do you see our role in the future and the role of the European Union funding in tourism development?
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you very much. So I think it was a very good thing that in the last programming period, as you mentioned, one important sector was tourism. There are regions in which this could be built and could become more attractive. And as I already mentioned, you succeeded very much. You made this campaign of meeting Santa Claus in his hometown, and I understand that it was a huge marketing effort, but you have succeeded. I think it's very important to build also in the next programming period on what you have done. So I really think that your idea to have tourism for one of the key elements of the smart specialization strategy here in Lapland, it is a good idea, and of course we have to develop. As I said, regions are diverse, and smart specializations means to build on the strengths and could be agro-food as well, could be IT. Of course, not all the regions can become Silicon Valley. So I think are many regions in Europe or in which tourism could become really a very important part of the economy. And I talk about Lapland. I also talk about the region I'm coming from, Eastern and Central Europe. I can confess to you that we are rather, in our mind, go to Western Europe in our holidays. But since I'm commissioner, I'm visiting so many wonderful places in Eastern Europe, in Slovenia, Slovakia, in Balkans, but which we didn't know. And this is another problem of connectivity, because sometimes it's easier to go in the places we know that we can arrive, we know that we have flights, there are things that we can do. And this is something that we also should have in mind when we are working with member states, with regional authorities, because no matter how beauty is a place, if it is so hard to arrive there, we will give up. I was thinking yesterday to come with my husband in holiday, and I was thinking how many times should be from Bucharest to Brussels to Lapland, but we have to, geography is geography, we cannot overcome, but at least what we can do in terms of railway, traffic, cars, I think we should do. And I really, I will speak tomorrow in Helsinki with the Ministry of Economy. My former colleague, Olli Rehn, he was colleague in the Commission. He is very well known in Romania and Bulgaria because he was in charge of accession when our countries entered into European Union. He was also our colleague in the European Parliament in the last period, and I will really encourage him to stay together with Jirki, Vice President Katainen, and see how we can do in order to put our funds together, because we put here in some priorities. I know you have also other priorities with a network of railways, which are very expensive, and I very much encourage you for this to apply to EIB for these strategic funds in order to make an integrated approach of using all the funds. And with all this, I think that tourism could become much more stronger, but it's still stronger. Everybody knows about Rovaniemi, and I promise you that I will tell about your efforts in to make such a big effort on marketing around Santa Claus. Thank you. I will visit in the afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, you heard. Everyone knows Rovaniemi and Santa Claus. We are ending our time, but I think that we have time for a question or two if you have. Yes.
Hello, and nice to have you here. And I'm Johanna from Lapland. And I'd like to say a few words that I think was missing in this conversation. And I didn't actually hear that much about competitiveness, about that. And one thing, there was this professor here who mentioned this living lab idea. And I think that we could use the slogan that if it works here, it works everywhere. If it works in the Arctic, it works everywhere. So I think we have really good possibilities to invent all kinds of things. And the next thing has to do with this, and we have this Aurora project there in Lapland, and it's about smart traffic, logistics, transportation structures, and things like that. It's about these autopilot trucks and maintaining the road infrastructure in the smart way. And it's going to be a really interesting thing, and it's going to show all over Europe and all over the world. And then third thing is these biorefineries that we might be, and very likely will be having here in Lapland, actually 2 of them. And that would make, as Kari Poikila referred to, a beginning of a cluster, a biorefinery cluster. And these new kind of biorefineries, they are really high-tech, they are clean tech, and they make part of a circular economy. And I would like to know that how could EU be a part of this, these things that happen here, and how could you promote these investments? And, I mean, all these things, for instance, that Aurora project has to do with accessibility also, and these things that bring new people, new businesses here, they also help to maintain the services and the infrastructure for the people who live here already. So I'd like to see what kind of possibilities does EU have to promote these investments, for instance.
Thank you. That's a really great final question.
Might be with that's not how.
So, because it's the final questions, I would like to thank you for. It was very useful for me to speak with you and to see your ideas and your preoccupations. I think you should also be proud, as I said. You have an innovation spirit, and due to this innovative spirit, you launched a smart specialization strategy, which is exactly building on what you have on tourism, on smart management of natural resources, and smart connection of people by overcoming, as we said here, huge distances with digitalization and innovation. And I am very big fan of the exchanges of good practices, and I very much encourage you, wherever you go. We have 24,000 people on the ground using European funds. Some countries are using these funds from 40 years, others for 7 years or 10 years. And it's very important to work together, and we have instruments to put all this expertise together and exchange ideas. And I think it's very important also for us as members of European Commission and also members of the units in the DGs to come and see directly and also to speak more, because sometimes we don't communicate enough what we are doing together with the member states and with the regions, with local authorities for improving the life of the people and of the citizens. I would like to thank you. It was a really pleasure for me to have this citizens dialogue, and hopefully I will come back soon. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see the final comments for Johanna and Hannu also.
Okay, we are closing this session, and I hope that those who did not raise their hands when the moderator asked, do you feel that your voice is
I can
heard?
ask the question now. Do you agree that this event has improved your knowledge about the EU?
That's nice, because I think that I feel after this event that EU are really listening to us, and I hope everyone raise hands next time too. And it was nice to hear that this is not one in a lifetime experience. I heard that you have been several times here in Finland, and I welcome you again very soon, so we can continue this dialogue and discussion about our very important thing for us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And I'm also very happy that, Corina, you are here in Lapland. And I think that what I would like to just add is that, I would like to say something about this competitiveness and sustainable growth. I think also that it's very important that our national parliament and government take that as a priority. And if they come to Brussels, I'm sure that the Parliament and Commission, we are ready to help them. But if they need some national funding also, and if you have a good idea, so go and knock to Mr. Sipila's door and say that, hey, you guy, you know something about the innovations, and now we have that kind of smart innovation in Lapland. And when Commissioner and the members of the Parliament visit in Lapland, they say that if we have that kind of great idea, they are ready to funding if you give first something, and that's the way how it works. Anyway, it was good to be Lapland and Rovaniemi, as I say, my hometown, and unfortunately, in this afternoon, I'm going to fly back to Brussels. There's some work still to do, but I'm
coming tomorrow.
You come tomorrow, so then we can have a little evaluation about this. But all the best, and for all of you, and good to see you here, and take care. That's my.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Creţu. Thank you, Mrs. Johanna. Thank you, Mr. By the way, my name is Johannes Ufersacker, and I've been hosting my dialogue and conversation, and I hope that you got the answers. I really hope that you got the more questions also. So let's keep dialogue on, and have a great Monday day. Thank you.